In this video, we can't have such a good looking body like this Kyosho without some lights in it. And so I bought a couple different light kits here from Kyosho in order to try to bolt them in, get us some of these lights all lighting up here on this chassis. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy. This is RoadsideRC. You'll tend to find me bashing or crawling or drifting or racing, plus doing product review videos and how-tos. Let's get started by getting this body off. We have to get some screws out in order to get access to these light buckets. Now you have light buckets both front and rear. We need 1, 2, 3, 4 for the rear of the car. And on the front, we have 1, 2 for the headlights, but then these little corner markers down here, these little turn indicators, they also have ability for some light buckets in there. We got to get a little creative with we're doing that. So 8 total lights for this car. And honestly, looking at the instructions, they offer, I think it's like 6 different kits, 8 different kits that you're looking at. I couldn't tell exactly which ones would be the best for this. So based on everything I could see, I picked up 97054-4HR and 97054-4H. So I think, even though it's super unclear, these might be the headlights and these might be red for the rear, but I don't know. So the next thing that we need to do is get these out of the box, get them plugged in, see if these instructions tell us anything, and we'll go from there. Well, that's not exactly what I expected. So the H's are white. Awesome, just as I expected. The R's are white and red. Boo. So tail lights are going to look a little funny. And maybe you're going to want a different strand that is all red or all white in the rear, just so that it is a little more uniform color in the back of the car. I'm going to start with the rear here just because it's dramatically easier. 1.5mm wrench right on these little things right here. I don't even know if you have to take it all the way out, but they're pretty short. With those little clips out, you just slide them right behind the bulb, right across the wires there, and then just reinstall them. As easy as that. Super great design here. All 4 rear lights are, you kind of almost just fall into place. Obviously there's wire management that's going to be done later. We're going to get some duct tape out and we're going to duct tape these wires all up along the roof, but that is for later. As of right now, this part is done. One note about wiring these Kyosho wires is that at the end here, they have both a male and a female. So if you have enough places in your receiver, you can just plug these ends in, and that works great. But if you either don't want to plug or unplug multiple, or if you don't have enough open slots in your receiver, you can actually just tag them together like this, and then just plug the one in, and it shares power across both strands. The front here is dramatically more complicated, and we're going to blame it on the pop-up headlights. First thing we're going to do is get this screw and this screw out. That takes this whole bar out. The reason why we need that is it helps hold the light bucket in. And then this screw and this screw, same thing. Those hold this little strap in. With those 2 screws out on each side, this whole light bucket will come out, and it'll be a little bit easier to do this kind of off to the side. You can see its movement area here. What they want you to do is go ahead and pull this out, and they want you to go ahead and take these screws off to get this cover off of this whole thing. Like, they want you to go through a whole lot on this, if I'm honest. I don't really think I want to, and I don't think you really need to do all this. What you do is you take your 1.5mm, take this screw out, and then you can just slide this piece out. That's where this LED is going to go. So if we snag our LEDs, it literally just beautifully sets right in there, and then you bend the wires up a little bit, and that whole assembly just goes right back in there. So it turns out I did need to remove these side screws. I didn't remove them all the way. I didn't remove the whole covering all the way. I just loosened them up enough to let this chrome cover go right back in. And now our LED is mounted securely inside. Headlight LEDs are now wired in. One thing we're going to have to note is, of course, these are flippable. So they can be down like this, which is easy, but they need to be able to move over. They need to be able to move up as well. So when we go to tape these down, we're going to have to give them enough room to be able to do both of those moves without any kind of problem. Onto these lower front lights. So again, first thing with them is just the 2 screws, 1, 2, and the whole light comes apart. Initially, this setup is actually quite easy. You just stick the LED in, bend the wires up a small amount, and then slide this bracket. It holds the LED in right back underneath it. The wires go on top of it. This ends up being part of your screw hole, so that's what you're looking at there. Now when we go to put it back in, you kind of notice there's a problem here. Where the heck do the wires go? Screw it back in, it's there. Is that really what we want the wires to do? Like really? No, of course not. Of course that's not what I want the wires to do. We have a couple options. We can either come right here behind the wires and just trim this front bumper, a little V or a little U shape in that front bumper, and then let the wires go through it that way. Probably would be okay. I bet nobody will ever really notice it there. I think ideally we'd probably drill a hole instead and somehow feed the LED through. I think the LED is so big that by the time we drill a hole, we're going to basically cut that whole section out anyway. So it's definitely a piece that you have to take advantage here. I think I'm just going to get my knife out and make a slit enough for those wires to just flow basically straight back. Now, a lot of the times what I see people do with these is I see them, they wire everything up to kind of the roof, something like that, and then they let that wire drop down to the receiver. I'm going to try something a little different this time. On this car, my receiver is kind of biased over to this side. So I think I'm going to try to wire everything over and along this side of the car. You have to tie it up and wire it up over here. And then that way you don't see any of the wires coming down, at least through the windows. If I want to put my FPV camera in there, it'll still be clear. So I'm just going to use some Gorilla duct tape and just very small pieces all along to help hold it together. And after some taping and some zip tying, this is what I've come up with. There's probably better ways of doing this, if I'm honest. Every time I do a light kit like this, it always ends up leaving more wire than I need, which is a good thing, because it's better to have more wire than too little. But, you know, I always end up having to bundle up some wire somewhere. Left my little pigtail here for where I get to plug it in. But, you know, you end up always bundling up more than you need. And it always makes me think that what I really need to be doing is just buying a bunch of LED pigtail leads on, like, an Amazon, along with a couple, you know, JST pigtail leads, and just, you know, wiring and soldering up my own is kind of what I always come back to. But either way, this Kyosho kit works well. Now we get the opportunity to plug it in and see what it looks like. Ah, look at us. It looks really good. I was worried that these LEDs would be too like LED bluish, but I guess maybe just the exact tint of those plastic in there makes it to where they actually look. You kind of have that yellowish, which it kind of should for this era of vehicle, right? Now, how did my rears come out? Oh, look at that. Okay, so I don't know if it comes across in the camera. For me here, I can kind of tell that that's the red one, and that's the white one, and that's the red one, and that's the white one. So, but I think honestly, as the car drifted by you on the track, I don't think you'd ever be able to know. And I don't know if on camera if you can actually quite tell. So either way, I think it works. If you went with all white, then they would all look the same. They have red over the sticker. So either way, that works. The red bulb does make it look more red, which of course is a good thing. But look at this. Look at us. That looks good. Definitely need this. The body is so scale. The car looks so good. You gotta have the lights, man. You gotta have the lights, especially there on the front. You just gotta do it. So if you have any questions about what I did or how I did it, leave them down in the video comments and I'll be happy to respond to you there. I will leave a link to these LED sets that I used here, plus some others that I think might work just as well. I'll leave those in the video description, so that way if you are looking to do this, you can click that link and buy them and it'll be right to you very fast. If you're curious about anything else that I'm doing with this Kyosho Fazer D2, there'll be a playlist popping up over here to the right somewhere, and I hope to see you in one of those videos. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.